This is Pam Hemphill.
Thank you, Lorinda.
This is part 3 of today's event.
Okay, guys, we are going to take a brief moment and talk a bit about 5G. How many of you know about 5G? Okay. So, did you guys know that when the whole COVID thing broke out in Wuhan, China, 5G was turned on in China at the same time, and people literally were falling dead in the streets. I never heard of final number. I don't know that China released a real number, but I heard people couldn't pay their phone bill anymore and they knew they were probably dead. Dave, do you have any to add with that whole 5G thing?
To put things in perspective, in Wuhan, there was 10,000 5G small cells in that city, just in that one city alone. That's just as many or more than in the whole United States of America. And that's how many were concentrated in that one city. And not only that, some other areas that had a high incidence of COVID-like symptoms, and you can look up into the Glaser report, we have it up here on the table, all of the symptoms of radiation sickness from any kind of non-ionizing radiation, not just 5G, are very similar to the symptoms of COVID. Italy had a high concentration of 5G. I think New York City was another place. And a lot of those areas had high incidence of people with symptoms like COVID. It's not being, our government is not studying it. There are people that are studying that, and eventually, I don't know if you guys follow Lynn Wood, but I'm going to tell you guys, every lie will be revealed. We will find out the truth about what's happening.
Yay! So, interestingly, September 26th, 2019, and when was Event 201? That was like in October.
I think October 2019.
Verizon announced that Panama City, New York City, and drumroll, Boise, were going to be test pilot cities for 5G. Do you think they told us? No. So fast forward, at the beginning of COVID, apparently our illustrious mayors, before COVID, so our past mayor and our new mayor, did a little handshake with Verizon, and they gave them pretty much carte blanche to our entire Treasure Valley and putting up 5G small cells. And how I met a lot of these guys was, we were so shocked to find that out. We found out the ACHD was trying to pass during COVID, early COVID, I want to say it was in May or June of May 20th, David. Okay, cool. They were trying to do a public meeting and not tell anybody. They published it in Caldwell on who knows what back sheet of the paper. And we found out about it. And within, 2 days or 3 days, we rounded up 200 people to call in to ACHD and be on their Zoom public meeting. And by one vote, we stopped the installation of small cell poles 20 feet from your baby's bedrooms. Yay, we had one win. But during that time, guess what? We had to do research with the city of Boise, and we found out that 20 feet was nothing. They had already approved, 30 inches. That these new buildings going up here, they can put a small 5G small cell tower 30 inches from a window. 30, you guys, that's pure radiation. So David D. Haas, an old buddy, I think I was taking his vitamins for 20 years. He is now the president of the Idahoans for Safe Technology. And I would encourage any of you that want to know more about it to talk to Dave and get on their mailing lists or something. Yeah. Okay, here you go.
It's Sherry's fault and Juliana's fault and Dr. Ann Hike, because on Sunday, May 20th, you all three called me. I'm in the middle of a 10-day cleanse at our healing retreat. I'm busy as heck, 3 phone calls, and you guys said, David, you gotta be on this phone call. And we got on the phone call at 2 o'clock, and I remember exactly, because at the end of 4 hours, I think it was Juliana said, wow, now what do we do? So yeah, we all volunteered, and so I'm gonna give you the backstory of 5G. Most of you guys have cell phones, you like them, right? Most of that has been 3G and 4G. 5G is a completely different class of power. It's all about broadband data. Broadband data is transmitted to your home now via cable. Oh, let me back up and tell you who I am. I run Living Waters Wellness Center. I'm a dad, I'm a granddad, I got a baby, and that's why I'm still in the fight. I also have just so I don't forget this either, I interviewed Dr. Judy Mikovits. How many people know who she is? Shockingly enough, I did a Facebook Live, and it's still up on the Living Waters Wellness page. And we took some clips as well. They're still there if you want to go there and look at it. I took some clips which you can share to your teachers, whoever, about the jab and what it's going to cause long term. It's also on the radio tomorrow morning on KIDO Talk Radio at 9 a.m. It's called the Whole Body Detox Show. It'll also be on the podcast long term, Whole Body Detox Show. So just look in your apps. That's where you'll find that cool stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so Juliana and Sherry and a few others called me, and we got involved. And in 3 days, we actually stopped a very bad ordinance. But was just the beginning. We didn't really accomplish that much because the towers are still going up. And I thought, 40 years in this valley, I've done a lot of real estate deals, a lot of business. Whenever there's a problem, I'd sit down with a planning and zoning commissioner or a councilman, and we'd talk about it. Haven't been able to do that with this council. They don't want that help. I got 2 return phone calls out of all the councilmen, and that's it. The rest didn't want to hear from me. And I would not get another phone call back from them. We actually appealed the tower at 27th. Something to know about 5G. You have cable going to your premises, right? That's how you get your broadband data. You don't get your phone that way, but you get your broadband. That's how you get your Netflix, send your emails, and so forth. What 5G is, at the end of the day, it's putting in broadband data at a power of 25 million times more radiant power than it takes to make a cell phone call. This power goes completely through your home and through a baby's brain. You got babies? Completely through. I interviewed the head of the Environmental Health Trust about 3 months ago. It's on the podcast and it's on our website at livingwaterscleanse.com as well. You probably want to listen to that to kind of get up to speed about what this does and the fact that there's been no industry testing. They use these big mannequins. It was old tests that are completely irrelevant. So the reason why I'm still volunteering and getting up, there's been times, guys, as volunteers. How many of you guys volunteer for something? That's awesome. You get kind of tired, you think, you know what? But this one's worth the fight. This is bigger than COVID. Way bigger, because this is actually will strip our freedoms, because they'll be able to contact trace you all the time. Even with your phones off. There will be a tower every 300 to 500 feet. That's how they work. Every 300 to 500 feet. We're talking in this town, thousands and thousands of towers. How bad is it? Well, our vice president of the board, Hank, all of a sudden Hank disappeared. I thought something's not good. About 1.5 years ago, a bunch of great volunteers went to the council, went to the Ada County and says, hey, there's a tower you're putting up out here and we don't want that. We don't want it in our neighborhood. The county decided not to allow the tower to go in at first. And then Verizon sued them in court. And the county got scared. And the county backed off and said, okay, put the tower up. They didn't tell the other people that were interested in this, the neighbors, they didn't tell them that, they just did it. Here's what's interesting about the way the law reads. That the city councils refuse, even the attorneys don't understand this. They believe they have no ability to regulate 5G. They have all the ability to regulate 5G. In fact, towns like Ammon, Idaho, you know what they did? They got smart. They said, we're going to put in fiber optics. We're not going to allow it in at all. So they ran fiber optics, the highest speed to everyone's home. They did a LID, a local improvement district, charging the homeowner $3,500, which they could pay over at $50 a month until it's paid off. Mountain Home, the mayor over there, smart mayor, he says, you know, what would it cost us to put fiber optics to all our city buildings? They figured it out. It was $17.81 a linear foot. So he bought them equipment, hired his own staff. They ran it. And he says, hey, let's put this out to the neighborhoods. What's it going to cost? $2,700 for the highest, most secure data transmission. These towers, they're not secure. If I'm a terrorist, I'm going to start blowing up towers. I can blow them up really fast, take down the whole network. What happens when the network goes down if you're running a small business? A lot of our stuff's on the cloud. I've experienced it a few times. It's not good. You're out of business. So this is all about a lot of power. And for those of you who've got a 5G phone, turn that part of it off because it's a very directed beam.
How do we turn it off?
Go in the settings. I don't know exactly. I don't have a 5G phone. You don't have to have it on. You might want to start thinking about hardwiring your homes. You know, the thing is we have the rights. Planning and zoning governments have the right. What are they supposed to do? They're supposed to protect us. Right? It would be like me. Let's just decide I want to build a building right here in this spot. Now, if I went to the city, I'd say, okay, here's my building plans. Here's how much rebar. Here's how much power. Here's how I can run electricity. Here's my car parking spaces. Did you know over 350 applications, many of them have not even been signed? No specifications whatsoever. In fact, during the hearing, first of all, planning and zoning, they looked at us with glass eyes and go, we don't know what we're talking about here. And they passed on to the council. And the council, again, wouldn't listen to reason. In the hearing, okay, they're supposed to do, their ordinance here in Boise is very poor. Like she says, it'd be 30 inches from a home, but they are supposed to do a thing called a propagation study. A propagation study means you take a cell phone and a meter and you drive around. And according to FCC rules, it states if there's a gap in coverage, you can put up a cell phone tower. A cell phone tower. This propagation study they brought in had no specifications, no equipment on it, no meter readings whatsoever. It was a colored map. A first grader could have drawn this map. It means nothing. There's no equipment on it. They'd be saying, I'm going to build a building. Here's my picture. Here you go, county. Would you approve this? Of course they wouldn't. But they're approving it on these meters. So back to Hank. So Hank, this tower goes on. Hank bought a piece of property in direct line of sight of this tower out in Eagle. 4 weeks ago, all of a sudden we're not hearing from him. He has now been in the hospital 5 times for AFib. Hank raised bees. After the winter, he went out to his beehive. The bees are all great. They're buzzing around. He says, great, got my bees. Go make some honey. His bees are all dead. His trees were blooming. His trees are not blooming. And if you look at this line of sight from his home, all the leaves on the trees are off. We've been telling the city this for a long time. Elaine Clegg is the president of the Boise City Council. I went to her. I said, Elaine, they decided they want to have a green Boise. So what they do during the pandemic last year, they gave away trees. They bought hundreds of thousands of dollars of trees to give to any citizen who wants one. What's going to happen to the trees? They're going to be brown. The bees are going to die. What's going to happen when all the bees are dead, guys? No food. Yeah, no food. Okay. The last thing that this thing does is it actually can trace you wherever you go. And I did a video, I did one of my radio shows, and at the end of it, Robert Kennedy speaks to this. And it's on the Idahoans for Safe Technology website, as well as it's also on my podcast list someplace. And if you listen to what he says, this mask thing, this COVID thing, it makes it like a walk in the park. It's really serious stuff. So I want to leave you today with taking some action, okay? First of all, how many of you guys are involved in politics? Not very many. Y'all need to get involved. 2012, I bought a Ron Paul sign and put it up in my yard. This guy came to me and says, hey, David, you should be a precinct committeeman. I said, what's that? He said, it's no big deal. It's real simple. I got involved. And because I got involved, I started learning. And so last summer, I took a resolution about 5G to the Republican convention. I got a lot of attention. We didn't pass it, but got people talking about it. This is called geoengineering, folks. Geoengineering. So that didn't pass. So then we went to the city council. We did all that. That hasn't passed. We're still working behind the scenes. So then I thought, what else can I do? So in about near the end of February, I thought, oh my God, we should run a bill. If the local governments aren't going to take their responsibility and properly keep us safe, we have the right to enjoy our neighborhoods. Did you know that when you put a 5G in tower, it goes in front of your home, which is odds are going to be pretty great every 300 feet. Do you know how much it decreases the value of your home? Any ideas? 20%. Boom. 20% off your, got a $400,000 home, that's an $80,000 hit. You got a mortgage, now you're upside down. It's a big deal. So we actually wrote legislation, but it's too late to get a hearing. So it'll have to be brought back next session. But I'm just one guy. We need help on our little committee of Idahoans for Safe Technology. So I want you to, as a takeaway, I've got some cards up here. All right, grab one so you have our website. On the website, now here's what's going on. We went to the mayor of Eagle last year. Great guy, Jason Pierce. Absolute great guy. And they allowed us 45 minutes to talk to them. We had one of our engineers, Brandon. Were you there, David? I was. Kathy Cook, she can come out and measure your home for all this electromagnetic frequency stuff. She's on our staff. So they gave a 45-minute presentation. And then Hank went and took their code and rewrote it. And he gave it to them. But nothing's happened yet. Nothing has happened yet. They say they don't want it, but at the same time he says, yeah, but David, there's nobody calling us. No one's really cares. It appears to us. It's like, are you sure people don't want this? Yeah, we know people don't want this, but a lot of people don't know about it. You've got to go on Idahoans for Safe Technology. I think click on Government, Take Action. Go down, there's a link to the councilman. There's email that takes you right to their site, Boise, Eagle, Kuna, Meridian, and you need to email them and you make a phone call. Say, hey, we want you guys to put a moratorium and stop this until you get proper regulations. And now I know the attorneys behind the scene are working on this, but yet they're not educated. And if you guys all give me some prayers, hopefully next month on the 17th I get that presentation. It's really, really important. The reason why I'm getting up and still doing this is because I got a grandson. It's not about me anymore. It's about my kids and about my grandkids. And you guys have all got kids and grandkids. This is huge, guys. It's the biggest war we'll ever fight, in my opinion. And we don't even know it. See, the thing is, if there was a real war, if there were tanks and guns, we could at least duck and cover, right? How are you going to duck and cover from this? You cannot. It goes right through your home. I was speaking to one of our consultants with an attorney from California. He's near 80 years old, and he's working on this every day because it's killed some of his friends. And he told me, he says, David, now this sounds woo-woo. I'm going to tell you, it sounds woo-woo. He says, David, so I understand it. They can actually see you move your arms in your homes. And they're putting these towers up only 30 feet high, which means they beam right into your bedroom windows. So as you sleep, you're going to get radiated. In California, where this has went up, in other places, there's been gals that were 19 years old, 20 years old, 8 years of age, two particular cases I can think of right now. And within a few weeks of these towers going up, all of a sudden they had tumors. And on the Environmental Health Trust interview that I did with, can't think of her name right now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She talks about this. There's lots and lots of studies, and some countries in Europe have actually banned it completely. We have the right to ban that.
Is that Deborah Davis?
The other gal.
Bob Bahamas?
No, I can't think of it. Anyway, it's up there. Okay, so once you take action. All right, so to take action, all you gotta do is take one step forward. Yeah, come on, take one step forward. Okay, you gotta take action. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go home, you're gonna get on the website, get this card if you need it, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna go to the email on all the councils and you say, hey, we wanna put a moratorium and stop 5G installations until you guys get proper regulations and regulate. We wanna regulate power because they can put unlimited power. They can crank these things up. And we don't even, in fact, This is, I'm not even go there. It'll sound too crazy to you guys. Got another gal that reached out to me. So you probably have friends that are having effects. Effects can be, I've got headaches, I got brain fog. Another gal reached out to me and said, David, there's a 5G tower that just went up today and they turned it on. She says, I got tingling all over my body for the first time. Hank told me today, it was before I came down, he says, David, I was back in the hospital yesterday for AFib. He says, they are loaded. They got tons of clients coming in and they don't have any idea why. There's this huge swarm of people coming in. He says, I can tell you, it's because of 5G. And the doctor says, that can't be so. Cognitive dissonance. That can't be so. That's all crazy stuff, David. Yeah. All right. So, any questions? What are we going to do?
Stand up. Woohoo. Step forward.
And,
Take action.
excellent. And I would also, I was just in Florida, and I met some gals, and they used to be in a different political party than they are now. And they did not want to vote for Trump. But they're in Arizona, and there are lots of towers going up down there. And I told them, you guys got to get involved in politics. So the easiest way is to become a precinct committeeman. It's easy. And your voice, that's where the grassroots starts. And because of that, you've now got 2 county commissioners that are looking out for you. In fact, because of Ryan Davidson and Rod Beck, we've actually got a seat at the table because we started getting people involved in the party about 8, 9, 10 years ago. So it can happen, but it takes your volunteer efforts to do it. So you reach out to me, I'll tell you, I'll find out what district you're in, how you can get involved, but we need more people like you at the table because you know what what the legislators tell me all the time? David, no one's here, just lobbyists. We assume you don't care because there's no one there in these halls talking to them. And so that's because of our fault, because we haven't been reaching out to them. All right.
Hey, David, I got one thing to add to what you just said. When you go into your doctor and you're having AFib or you're having some of these symptoms that are part of 5G that look like COVID sometimes, and he tells you, well, that can't be 5G, or it can't be your smartphone, or it can't be 4G, you take this in, you print this out, and you dump it on his desk and say, you tell me that now, buddy. You read this because this isn't just one study. This is 170 pages of all the studies that have been done by our government and our military since 1940s on how harmful this stuff is to us. That's how much research there is on it. So don't ever let anybody tell you there isn't any research. It's called I think it's called the Glaser Report. You can find it on that Health Trust site.
Environmental Health Trust, ehtrust.org. Just a minute. One other thing is that, give this guy a big thanks. He's on our committee. He has taken and mapped every single tower and application. And without him, we would not know. It's been amazing what David has done. You just can't believe it. It's awesome. Question? Yes, Idolins for Safe Technology.
And you can go on that site and actually bring up the map that shows you where they're all located in Boise. Eventually, we're going to be expanding that out to the rest of the valley, but
well, hopefully we get it properly regulated. And we limit the power. We want to limit the power. There's no reason why you should have this much power. It takes about half a watt of power to make a cell phone call and a text message. The power that they're going to put on these towers is 25 million times greater than what it takes. You don't want that coming to your body.
Thank you very much. God bless America.